for us all to keep while I beg for inner peace, selfishness and strength.
Hello and welcome back to the Metal Antics podcast, episode 16. My name is Chris. I'm here today with my co-host Isaiah.
Hello.
Michael.
I'm Isaiah.
And what the fuck? And we're here today with 3/5 of Sentinels. What's going on, guys?
Oh, hello.
What's
going
How's
on?
it going?
Just
Thanks for
hanging.
having us.
So,
How are you guys doing on this snowy day?
Surviving.
Yeah. Barely.
Yeah.
I'm like used to it at this point. Like this is the most snow we've had in like probably 3 years. So it's like every other week I'm like, all right. So, but every other time before that, it's like, fuck this snow.
Yeah, I had to work yesterday, and I work at a restaurant as a server, and there was like so many people that just came in. They're like, "Oh, you guys are like one of the only stores open." So like, thank you. I'm like, God damn it! Like, make my life.
Why did you have to come in?
Yeah, why did you have to come in? You could just stay at home.
Stay home, make some ramen.
Yeah.
Fuckers.
So people know the voices. You guys want to go by and say your name and what you do in the band?
Yeah, sure. I'm Dave. I play drums and do vocals.
I'm Chris. I play guitar.
I'm Thomas. I play guitar.
There you have it. We're just missing two guys right now, and but we're gonna make do. One guy might pop in.
Yeah,
That's possible.
Danny, our bass player, might pop in.
Yeah, let's make him feel bad about it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Fuck you, man.
Yeah, it's like really mad. He walks in and we're like, huh, look who decided to show up.
Look here,
Yeah.
look here, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
And if we wanted to get Josh in here, we'd have to,
I'll call
put him
him.
on a G6.
Yeah.
But we don't make that kind of metal for money. So.
Yeah, if we want to ask him really specific questions, give him a ring, but
Right.
we'll see what happens. But how has it been in the quarantine so far? How's the band been handling it?
It's been interesting, eventful though, which is
Very
great.
interesting, but yeah, eventful. Pretty much the majority of it from like the very beginning of quarantine, like until I'd say August, was just spending time perfecting our record. So like we were scheduled to just be in there to record the record from March 1st to the 30th, and then quarantine literally hit like around like the 20th, and then label was just kind of like, all right, got to do what you got to do. And also we were transitioning vocalists, so we really didn't have a time restraint, and we were just kind of going back there as much as we could to like perfect it, given like lockdown standards and protocols. So it was a lot of that. So we literally have been working on perfecting the record for like probably 5 months of it, and then the rest has just been, for me, working and practicing really.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll say this. I feel like it worked out in our benefit. Like, granted, we didn't get to do what we wanted to do in the time that we wanted, but like I think we came out with like more studio time.
Oh yeah,
So
for
like
sure.
we had like time to do like whatever the hell we wanted.
Yeah,
we
because it was tough because like given like the history of the band, like the band like joined at 2012, like long before I had joined, and so like Josh is technically like in our timeline as a band like the fourth vocalist, so we wanted to make sure that he was the right fit and matched personalities, was able to fulfill duties. So it's like we really were able to take the time on it. We found him within like a week or two.
Yeah, we had a lot of recommendations towards him. It was Aaron Chaparian, our one silent six member of Sentinels.
Big shout out to him.
JTKV recommended him too.
And then Nick Chance from
Nick Chance.
Distinguisher.
Yeah.
So like it just took a lot of we were able to take the time because of quarantine and all these new protocols and stuff to really find the right guy and get him down here when it was safe to, and just make it happen. So just been really trying to perfect the record for the most part. Other than that, just daily life for me.
Yeah, because I mean, for the as far as like a timeline for how that studio went, for the studio time went, we originally went in for like 4 days in February, like the middle for like pre-production, with Randy LaBeouf and Aaron Chaparian, and then we went back to I guess just focus on before COVID happened. So we're just focusing on just getting it done within the month, and then ever since COVID hit, we had, like he said, an extended amount of time to just work on the songs. So 3 months after that, you tracked drums. We took
tracking drums like right when it started.
Yeah, we did that, and then the next few months we actually focused a lot on the ambience on the album, like a lot of like the droney atmospheric stuff that we were originally limited to like a couple days, but we wound up having like a whole month and a half just dedicated to perfecting the ambience, adding layers and layers, and just making it as full as possible, like even better than we could have ever thought. But I think it was just because of like the blessing in disguise of COVID, of like being able to actually focus on this record and not have to worry about leaving for tour also right afterwards. So it gives us some time to work, save some money,
Not be broke.
not be broke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I finally have a decent savings account.
Yeah.
It's amazing what a year of not touring will do.
Yeah.
God. punch
It's
me in the
it's
face
sad.
every
It's
time.
sad to say, but like it's like a year of touring, like financially, like it's night. It's night and day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
guys feel like the whole like circumstances with the COVID everything made you guys work harder, or was it just like we got a lot of time, so we have extra time to do stuff, or was it just like crunch time all the time, or
Yeah.
you
I
guys
would say
I feel
so,
like-
yeah.
If anything, it's not like there was pressure from it, but I feel like going from Stay Sick to Sharptone, I feel like the pressure was a little more on with like
Want to make sure this record was like the best it could be.
exactly getting put on like a major platform almost to help push this album. Like we could have never imagined it like being
Yeah.
pushed before, so we wanted to make it as perfect as possible with the pressure that all comes with that. I think
Mhm.
definitely had a play in
Yeah,
it.
because it gave time to really, take the time to carefully dissect all the instrumentals and make sure that, they were doing exactly what we had intended to do, while also having like the producer's angle on it, and, him making sure that everything is all in line. But then due to the fact that we lost a vocalist halfway through the studio, I had already started writing some lyrics for some of the songs that like he hadn't planned or didn't have much for. So once we kind of parted, it fell into my lap to not only track X amount of songs, on drums, and then now I have to write lyrics for him. And like it was a really daunting task. And so I look at bands like all the time, like End or counterparts, where like Brendan, the vocalist, will go in and he won't write lyrics until the music's all done in the studio. And I'm like, dude, it took me 3 fucking months. And like he'll do it in 2 weeks, and he's got the most beautifully sad shit I've ever read in my life.
Yeah.
To where I'm like, here it is in like June, and I'm like, all right, finally sent the talk tracks over to Josh to learn so he can fly down and record it. So it was like, so yeah, even though it sucked, like, everything going on in the world, like that extra time really did give us that extra edge we needed to make, like, in our opinion, the best possible first full-length record we could have ever made. So as much as it sucks, I'm grateful for the time we had, and I think everything was just meant to happen that way.
Mhm.
Yeah, and like the single you guys put out, like, so I've listened to your stuff for a while, and I'm like, this sounds different, but like you definitely tell it's a Sentinel song. Like as soon as it comes in, because you guys like come in hard, then there's like the alien noises you guys put in there with the guitar, which I think is fucking nuts. Like you could I could sit there for a year on guitar and be like, all right, what the fuck do I got to do here? Because it's crazy to me. Like I don't know how you guys play.
Yeah, some of those sounds,
So
I don't even
bad.
know how you make it on a guitar. I'm just like, but that shit sounds good as hell.
Yeah, because it's like oh yeah, I'm gonna
it's
do
an
this.
alien. It's a real alien.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this open note, and then I'm gonna go all over here and just play a little fast thing for 3 seconds. Then I'll go back to the open. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? So
It's a lot of trial and error, I think.
yeah,
With
like,
that.
how would you say you guys come up with that part of like your writing, like the really progressive parts, the really fast alien noises and shit?
I don't know. I feel like it's a lot of, like I said, trial and error, because you can sit it apart and try to think of like whatever cool noise or whatever you want to do can come out, and you can sit there for days trying to put random noises, and it really takes sometimes days to just find that right noise, I guess, to put there. What's most appropriate too is also kind of like a factor. We want to be like tasteful, but at the same time not like everywhere with it, if that makes sense.
No, like I'll literally be like, because we both have our own like little studio setups at home, and like I'll be sitting there, I'll be working on a riff, and then I'll come back to it like 20 minutes later and be like, God, this doesn't work.
Yeah, a lot of sleeping on
I
riffs.
keep going back and having to like rechange like just the part, because either something's not working with like the notes I'm using to make those weird noises, or just it doesn't fit in general. So like it does take a lot of time to like build those riffs.
Yeah. And it's better though, I think, when you have an actual session in front of you. Because we used to do like Guitar Pro and Tux Guitar for like everything, like MIDI, all of that. But comparing it to writing in an actual like Logic session or Cubase session, it's just like it flows so much better, the ideas, instead of just plugging in random numbers and just hoping for the best almost.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna lie, that's literally what our first like a lot of
the
that,
first
those
the first two EPs were definitely a lot of Tabit and Guitar Pro sessions where it was just like, what's the most fuck thing we can.
Yeah.
But playable somewhat.
Yeah, like in those programs, you can shoot for the fucking stars before you know you can play it, and then it's
Yeah.
just like, all right, now I'll learn it. But like, I think the approach of, you know, writing and recording directly like with a guitar into a DAW session just really creates for like more of like not only like a realistic approach and standard to what you're creating, it really does. I don't know. There's just more attachment to it because it's coming directly out of you, and it's not just being typed out.
Not
in
like
a sense.
coding or anything.
That's,
Yeah.
like
Riff
honestly,
coding.
like honestly, I've come to like appreciate our newer stuff more because it is. I feel like it's not just because like it's easier to play, but it's just like it flows better. It's like more real.
Yeah.
But, like the other stuff was just like.
A lot everywhere.
Yeah, because it's like all the previous stuff. It's like yes, it was all written by guitar players,
Yeah.
but it's like it's written totally different ways,
Yeah.
and you can hear that over time because like the Idols EP is just a fucking tiger with like
Yeah,
off
I
a
don't know what
leash.
we were doing. Like, we were 15, 16 when we were doing
I
that.
want to shoot myself.
Yeah, it was just like whatever we thought was cool, and then we just put like steroids in it.
Those
and just-
first two CDs are actually really hard to play.
Yeah,
And, like,
I-
I go back now and be like, how did we do that?
Yeah, if we ever got like a request for it to play live, it'd be like a whole challenge.
We'd
to just
have to
try
practice that one song all together for like a week to like come back and do it.
Yeah,
And it sucked, like, because I would try to play it like to the standard that they would hold it, but like there was no humanizing to those drums. Every snare hit, no matter how fast it was just like gata, 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 gata. Like, there's no duh in there. It's all gata, 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 like
Yeah.
all blast beats
Pings.
like that. And I was like,
What about
shit.
your favorite part, the grab in Idols?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's like I learned afterwards in one song, Continuity, it's the second track I think, that like there's like a Euroblast, which is essentially just your hands like alternating right and left, and your feet are matching the right hand. And meanwhile, they programmed on accident a gravity blast with the left hand, which is literally tick, 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 tick.
At like
So-
full velocity.
So
Like-
it's like a 3-4-handed part.
Oh,
but
God.
you know, and being that they're young and they're like, dude, sounds sick. Like they didn't fucking change it, and like I don't think we ever played that song together as a band. when I was in
How
it.
do you play that though? Like your right hand goes left and right, and then this one matches the bass.
That's
drum?
essentially what you have to do, but it doesn't make any sense because like you'd
It's like
have to have like that
Three
perfect
hands?
left hand balance. Yeah, you're balancing the stick on the edge, and it's as you're coming down, you're hitting like this. It goes ba, and then as you're
Yeah,
coming
you
up,
come
it goes
back up.
da.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know what the fuck you guys were thinking.
That's nuts.
It
Yeah.
was crazy to hear back, but it's something like so finite that you have to really listen for it. But everything else, it's still the most animalistic shit ever. And I'd never played stuff that demanding. Just coming in, sounds like great. I'm just
Yeah,
a fill-in.
if I ever like wrote something like that, which I never will, and, like the average fan wouldn't appreciate that because they just hear it like, that sounds cool. Anyway,
Yeah.
but like the amount of like work that goes into that, like the way you just explained it, I'd be like, every time I heard that song and I'd showed someone, I'd be like, you hear this part? This is
human
bullshit.
can't do
This is hard to write.
This is some bullshit right here.
Yeah. You know how hard this was?
Yeah, and all those drums are programmed.
These
so
bunch of
it's like-
teenagers fucked me over.
It couldn't be done any other
fucked
way.
you guys over. We fucked ourselves over.
That's the other thing. Like a lot of it is trial and error, but at the same time, a lot of it is accidents too. Like if we're trying to like think of a pattern and we accidentally cut the wrong part and it plays back and we're like, oh, that's actually kind of sick. And then we just like go off of that. So it's also accidents somehow. But not like the Euro, the
that was just-
gravity
Well,
Euro,
happy
but
accidents.
I think that was thrown in without us even really knowing about it.
Yeah, no, little
Like
accident.
that was an actual accident. The rest of it is like Bob Ross, like happy accident. So, like it's just going.
Some
with
happy
it.
little
Yeah.
riffs here.
So,
Oh,
Oh,
no,
that's
I
the- that's
insist.
funny.
I insist.
so, how would you guys compare the feedback to this single you drop now compared to like your other singles that you drop? Would you say that you've gotten better feedback, more feedback? Like, how would you say?
both.
for sure, yeah. no,
Honestly,
that's
like way more
breaking
feedback.
records over
Yeah, like
personal records at least.
for sure. Like and like already, it's been out for 2 weeks. Well, this past Wednesday,
Yeah.
and it's surpassed like views like that a music video like previously we put out has had for 2 years. So like we're watching it steadily like grow like little by little every day, and like just stream numbers and like the amount of like posts on Spotify or Spotify to Instagram, like it's very overwhelming. I knew that there would be like some hopefully good reception from it, being that it's been quite a while since we've released anything, but like it exceeded all our expectations, because lately, you know, given with like the state of music and whatnot, we try to keep our expectations like kind of neutral, but we hope for the best, you know. So like at the same like time, we're not disappointed if it doesn't meet a certain goal, but this exceeded all our expectations, and the majority of the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive.
Definitely.
My favorite part is like this is the first time we're getting like legitimate like reaction videos,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
they've either been hilarious or like they've just been so positive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, positive and honest.
Yeah.
And it's
Honestly, I was just gonna trail off.
no, because it was like a double like positive feedback at the same time, because we were putting out the new music. We're also releasing the music with the new vocalist too, so we were super stoked on the reception of that. And then the label too, but I think just the push from the label has surpassed, I think, everyone's expectations of it so far.
Yeah, I mean, just like seeing people's like reactions to, I guess, the fact that we signed with a label that a lot of people, you know, follow, have interest in, and stuff like that. Like that was cool. It was great to see that people were so accepting of us on this label, and then people who have followed the label before and never heard of us beforehand saying that, you know, like it's a nice thing to see us on this label. And I was like, holy shit, because like I thought people would have been like, what is this weird ass band on this, like, you know, typically like metalcore label. And to see that people thought that was like the perfect home for us, like, you know, that's how we felt. So seeing that other people felt the same way was amazing.
We definitely feel our age, I think, too, with the comments we see too, because there's people that are like, oh, this is the same Sentinels that did Idols, right? Like 8 years ago or some shit. I'm like, oh. It's hard to hear, but it's funny just seeing that there's
It's a big
people
label.
connecting the dots.
Like, I was looking at all the bands that are signed. They're like, Mice Men just signed there.
Yeah,
It's
that's
my
my
favorite bands of all
that
time.
was like the week before we signed. I didn't even think that would like I didn't know about that until I saw.
Yeah, before we announced anything, we were like, guys, they just signed with Mice and Men.
Yeah.
And we were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, who
Like,
else
it's
is signed there?
crazy.
Is We Came With Romans? Are they're
Yeah, they're on there.
Kim's
Muir,
Romans and Muir.
Crystal Lake, Players.
Yeah, a
Love.
lot of the like the new like metalcore bands
Yeah.
and like deathcore, progressive metalcore, and all that shit. Like all the bands you can see all these bands tour together at one point too. So
For
they have
sure.
like a common theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's a huge label for like the bands of like now, like the new up and coming bands.
Definitely.
Yeah, and like pretty much a fat majority of the bands on their roster are like bands that, like, when it comes to when people ask like who do you guys want to tour with in the future, pretty much like 6 out of 10 like bands that I say are on that label. So knowing that like we're kind of in like that whirlpool, I guess, like knowing that there could be a potential for that is like the best thing that we could hope for, because all those bands like really have amazing fan bases and you know, very welcoming fan bases from what it seems like. So
Yeah.
like, for us to be like potentially out on the road with one of those bands in the future would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have Sumerian that's like the more like gent, and then there's like pop on there. There's not really as much like metalcore or like bands like Crystal Lake or Polaris and stuff like that. I think Alpha Wolf too is on that label, right?
Alpha was on Sharptone, yeah.
So it's nice to see like a legit like, I feel like new Rise Records kind of wave of bands. Like back in the day, I feel like there was just like those up and coming bands that would just put music out randomly, like Miss May I, who were like no one back then. And a lot of those bands are just kind of, I guess, also on this label,
Yeah,
right?
like
Yeah.
jumping ship pretty much.
Well,
Cause like,
that was the thing when Sharptone came out. I feel like they offered these bands like great deals, and like everyone jumped ship to hop on their label.
So I think Attila was even on there before they went like completely DIY.
yeah, it was like, I think they were their first 2 like announced signed bands was, I think We Came as Romans or Miss May I and Attila.
Yeah.
So it like they started off like with a very impressive lineup of bands that like were very successful, and so just from there it just got better and better, and then they just started branching out into some other bands that we were still like, holy shit, man, this is the place to be. So I mean, it just kind of makes sense.
Before I forget, I told Thomas we actually have a surprise for you guys. I'm gonna send Joey out right now to go get that surprise. What do you think?
Yeah.
It's tickets to Warped Tour 2077.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Just in time. Yeah.
I can't wait to be walking up in a I remember when Amir was on the main stage.
You know, at Warped Tour, actually, like, one year. I think it was. Were you with us at 2017? There's like some lady. She was like 60 years old.
Oh, the lady that wrote the corn husk joint.
Yeah. She was just smoking at Warped Tour. She was like rolling up joints, and then she was standing there, and we go up to her and we asked her, like, I was so like entertained. I had to know about her, so I asked her what band. Like, she was like, oh. My favorite band here, Amur. I'm gonna go see them right now. She's like, I'm gonna go see them right now. I was like, everybody around was like, no fucking way. And like, there was some guy with her the whole time. I was like, is this your grandma? So he's like, no. I just randomly found this lady.
Let's show this old woman.
Someone got some dude got knocked out to Solar Flare Homicide that day.
Oh,
shit.
of course. Some guy got knocked out in the video. There's this one shot that I will never forget about. It's like a dude in like, I think a Periphery shirt, hilariously enough, and then some kid comes up in like high boots and like, and it cuts just before, but like it's literally a dude's boot. Like comes right there. It's during like the dubstep breakdown part. It's the craziest shit.
So we got
I'm
the
excited for
surprise
this.
here.
Oh boy.
Let's open this up.
Is that a dick in a box?
Maybe.
Oh man, not surprised anymore.
Ah.
Okay, that's it. Boom. And
That probably sounds terrible on the
What?
mic. That probably sounds
yeah,
terrible.
right. It's like all peeking here. Yeah. All right, so we got you guys a cake
Oh, yo!
that says congratulations on getting signed.
Dude,
Because you know.
thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you
no
so
problem.
much.
Yeah, no, it's a huge deal, you know.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah,
sick.
like a local band, you know, signing with like a big record label.
Be careful how you cut it, because if you cut the blue wire, it's over.
Oh, yeah, that should have bombed this cake.
Yeah.
Cake everywhere.
Yeah, and we brought like plates and knives. They're hidden back there, but
Dude, hell yeah,
thank you.
so we can dig in
Dude,
this.
you guys
Yeah.
have to do that. It's sick. Thank
Oh,
you.
it's-
Thank you very much. Our pleasure.
Here, Joey, do a thing with that. Keep it safe.
Hey, listen, you're an integral part to this. You're the
Yeah,
cake
you're-
guy.
Yeah,
You're
the cake
involved
guy.
now.
Joey's got the cake.
Production is
You can put it down. You don't have to hold it for like the next 45 minutes.
I'll take it. Just put it right here by the fridge.
Yeah. Oh my god, they look dangerous. You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
I was under it.
My heart.
So
That did.
My mom didn't even get me a cake. Fuck her. If you're listening to that, Mom, fuck you. You just got me drunk to where I couldn't stand.
Wait,
I
did
love
she
you,
really?
Mom. Just kidding. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Because like everything canceled that week, like with our plans. So she was like, yeah, you know, just come home. We're just gonna have drinks. And my dad was like getting me blasted on like double Long Island iced teas and all that shit. So I was like, ugh. And it was a Wednesday. I had work the next day. So I was like, oh, it's fine.
But yeah, no, it's definitely like a huge deal. You know, you guys are like a local Jersey band that I've known like for a while, and it's just crazy to see like the rise and stuff. So
It's
Happy
Thank
to celebrate.
Thank you.
Yeah,
We definitely
seriously.
appreciate it, man.
yeah, no
It
problem.
still feels like surreal in a sense because like
Yeah.
it just couldn't have come at like a better time, and we've been sitting on it for just so fucking long.
Dude, it's,
so.
I think last January or so. It's been like almost over a year.
No,
We
I
made the
think it was
plans.
like December or January, like of the previous year. Like, or it was fucking insane.
Yeah.
So like just having to sit on it because of like COVID and all this other stuff getting delayed, we're like,
Like, oh my god, I couldn't imagine.
I'm like
Yeah.
itching there, just like.
It's like, yeah, it's like the biggest news of my life, you know. But I'll tell you guys in a year.
Dude, and it's fucked up because back in February we were put in, like, we were told like this is like the biggest like hush hush, like you can't tell a soul other than like your parents and shit, like just like inner circle kind of things.
Yeah.
And then we get a text from our managers that we're in the Sharptone alternative press page for February of that last year. So it's technically been publicized for
Yeah.
over a year that
Oh,
we're on
yeah.
Sharptone.
Yeah, it was.
But no one buys alternative press anymore.
no one buys magazines or physical anything. So
Yeah, so it's hush hush though.
I just remember
It's
getting
like
the
a
text from our manager. I was like, dude, send me we can post it, and he's just flat, no. And I'm like, what do I do with this information? Like, I was freaking out, and I was running to like every possible store I could find to like get them, and no one carries them anymore. So like
Yeah,
I had to like
Yeah,
guess what
I've
issue
never
it was.
seen a physical alternate press magazine in a store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when I was like super young at Barnes and Noble, that was
Yeah.
the only place that I like
Always.
even looked.
Yeah.
I think
That
I would have
would-
dropped hints like, "Hey, you guys should check out the alt press. See, you guys should check that out. I wonder what's in there."
Wow, this alt press magazine, page 6, paragraph 3 is amazing.
Inspirational as hell.
Yeah, you guys should
Crazy.
check it out. Go
Yeah.
buy the magazine.
And like all it was essentially was like an ad for Sharptone like 2020 of like what's to come, and we were like, why is this like
Even though we didn't get it announced
publicized?
until 2021.
Yeah, I was like, why is this
I think,
publicized?
well, 'cause I just feel like no one was prepared for all this to happen. So like,
Lot
I
of
think at the
changes.
time, like it was supposed to come out at that time.
Yeah.
And like no one realized it to like maybe we should pull that.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
too late at that point.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we can't pull that.
'Cause anything after that,
Hope no one
like,
notices.
in those sort of like ads, the graphic they did, like we were out of it. So I think they were like, yeah, probably not. wait on that.
Yeah. Can you guys go into detail how like they reached out to you or whatever happened like to the point that you guys got signed?
Scott Lee and Josh.
Well,
Bulgarin.
yeah.
Yeah.
Our managers, Scott Lee and Josh Bulgarin, are the two greatest human beings on this planet. They saw potential in us about like maybe 3 years ago,
Mhm.
or just about. And they kind of hit us up and got us started, like with representation and stuff like that. But then with our previous label, when our contract was like fulfilled, like our duties were done, we were like, all right, well, we want to go in the studio and get this next record going. And from what they told me, they went to Sirius XM to shop some of their bands to get on their like high octane like metal station. And so they were talking with the main guy there, and then there was a woman sitting in the corner, and the guy was like, "Here, Scott, just take the aux and play me some stuff." And he played Hollow off our last record, and the woman in the corner was like, "Who's that?" And then that woman was Jackie Anderson, who was an A&R rep for Sharptone. Immediately, their attention shifted to talking to her about us talking to them, and she asked if we were free, and they were like, yeah. And so then it just kind of, they got to talking, and we had a pretty much an offer within 3 days from that. And I was like I couldn't even talk. Like I was like, you gotta be shit, man. I hit the band chat immediately. I was like,
Because it was when that happened, when they told him about the Sirius XM thing, it was like, oh, maybe, like, don't get your hopes up too high. And then, like, 3 days later, it was like in like a reality.
Yeah,
Basically,
we got the
email.
memo like a week after that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I like could not believe it. So it was just like, holy shit! Like, finally, a dream is like being realized, and everything that we like ever worked for was like coming true. And it was one of those things that almost felt like too good to be true, and like it worked out, and like they genuinely liked our stuff, and it basically just had to be put in front of them to
Mhm.
get their attention, and
Yeah.
luckily everything worked out.
We were definitely a different kind of like style for that label. I feel like they don't have anyone too technical.
Yeah.
So
So I mean, like we
it
were
was nice to stand
hopeful.
out a little bit.
Yeah, it was just hopeful, like, of them accepting something different, and they were all about it. And luckily, the CEO of Sharptone is actually the former, like, vice president of Sumerian. So he had a hand in, like, signing, Born of Osiris, After the Burial, Veil of Maya. So he, like, is familiar with working with bands like that and bands like us. So he was all about it, and we were like, God damn.
Yeah.
That's great.
Let's do it.
Yeah, no, it was surreal for sure.
Definitely dope.
I was gonna ask. So, we usually ask like every band. I think you know what I'm getting at.
What, the tour?
Yeah, let's feel like some crazy like tour show stories.
Oof, I'd have like I'll never forget this. Back in like ones we've gone to.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So back in 2014 or 2013, I think it was 2013. In New York, within one weekend, like Friday was one show and Saturday was the other show. Friday show back in 2013, Hate just got put out by The Art Is Murder, and it was their Hate Across America tour, and it was The Art Is Murder, Fit for an Autopsy with Nate Johnson, Last and Seconds of Life with Storm, and then Kubla Khan too. And then the day after was that Viljarda, Structures, North Lane, and Veil Maya.
Yeah.
And that was literally like the day after down the block. So that whole weekend, I think,
It's like a perfect.
hands down, I think the best like weekend of shows I think I've ever gone to.
Yeah, I went to a weekend of shows one time, but it was amazing, but it sucked. I was so tired at the end. So it was a Friday to a Monday. Friday was, I think, you remember what I'm talking about?
No, I'm
No?
waiting.
You were there for one of the shows. So first was Marilyn Manson at Starland.
Okay, where are you going?
No. First was August Burns Red at Starland. Then Marilyn Manson. And then that Monday, I believe, was Of Mice and Men with Bless the Fall.
Oh, okay, at the
Oh, I was-
Stone,
I was
Stone
there.
Pony?
Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
were both there.
Yeah, I
Oh
was
my
there.
God, I was so sick at the end of it.
Yeah, what? That was just like
Yeah.
3 years ago, like a
You're-
few
you're
days
living
ago.
Off, you're
It
living
was,
off and just standing all day. You're eating probably nothing but show food, which is just all
Yeah.
nasty.
Pretzels or chicken fingers if you're lucky.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
like by like Bless the Fall, I was dead. And then A Mice and Men came on, And I was like,
Second wind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is great. I'm having a great time.
It was Cane Hill of Mice and Men, Bless the Fall.
And that weird Moscow
Fire-
band.
Yeah, and then Fire to the Gods.
Yeah, where the singer of Moscow tried fucking like the music stand or something like that. Yeah, it was like,
Do you
he was, like
remember-
having sex on a microphone.
Do you remember the guy, like, everybody got mad because the guy, he ran through the pit with his kid on his shoulders?
Oh, they didn't get mad at him.
Like, people yelled at him because he ran
Really?
through, yeah, people were
Oh.
moshing and he ran through the pit with his kid on his shoulders.
Oh, I mean, they gave him a bunch of drumsticks and shit.
Oh, the
Oh, no, that was later. Yeah, when they brought the kid up. Yeah, I remember
Oh.
that. They brought him up to the front after.
Bless the Fall. They wanted to, what is it called? When
Crowd
you-
surf.
Yeah, when you drop the kid on his
Mosh
head.
the kid. Yeah, they wanted to mosh the kid.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I went to a show. It was, God, I think it was like 2014. It was when Language came out, Contortionist, and Riffery was still working on Juggernaut. It was like the Escape from the Studio tour. And that tour, so it was literally, Periphery, the Contortionist, Intervals with vocals, and then my friends in Toothgrinder, another like New Jersey
I love
like,
Toothgrinder.
band. And this was their first like big tour, and I was like, holy shit! Like, 'cause they just went from like doing DIY tours just themselves to touring with Periphery. And I was like, this is insane. I gotta see this. So I drove out to Allentown, Pennsylvania to see it, and nobody knew who Toothgrinder was at the time. They were very low key, like they didn't have much out on the internet, but they were one of the most wild bands ever. Like the vocalist jumping into the crowd at the first note played, hanging off like barricades and
Rafters.
like rafters up there. And so I wanted to hype my boys up, and I never do. So I was like trying to get like up and get people to like help me crowd surf. And then the first time they don't get me all the way there, and they all just let me down. And like the way my back and head hit the floor, it's like my stomach went like right to the front, and I felt instant nausea, and like was trying to stand up and like couldn't. I thought I was gonna like just Ralph everywhere. But then everyone was like, "Dude, you good?" And I was like, "Get me back up there!" And I like fought up. They were like, "All right," and I was like, "Don't fucking drop me this time." And they were like, "This guy is not from here," and it was awesome.
That's similar to what happened to me at the same show we were both at, but we didn't really know you at the time.
Which one was that?
Glass Cloud at Gramercy.
Oh,
Glass
yeah.
Cloud Sail Summit.
That was a good one.
That like Glass Cloud's like one of my favorite bands, and we got the VIP package. We're there all day. Glass Cloud goes on. I'm moshing, I'm crowd surfing, having a little too much fun, and I go and crowd surf at some point, and I guess the security guard caught me in a weird way, and like he tweaked my back. So like I'm walking like around the barricade. I'm like, I feel like an old man, but like. Literally, I'm just like, this is my favorite band. We're only like a quarter into their set. I have to keep going. And then after we're out of the show, we stop at the 7-Eleven. I get like, back when they sold like the bigger bottles of like Advil, and I pop like the entire thing.
Jesus.
Well, and Danny's grandpa the next morning took us out for breakfast, and he's like, you probably shouldn't have like any alcohol in the next like 12 hours. I'm like, why? He's like, Advil's a blood thinner. If you have one shot or a beer of anything, you're gonna be drunk off your ass.
It's probably gonna die right then and
Yeah,
there.
right.
Some bottle of holding Advil.
Pushing the limits of humankind.
Yeah, right. I just remember being at that show, feeling like such a douche. I'm pretty sure I even caught you like doing that move.
Probably.
And then because, God, this is gonna sound like such a douchey ass like thing to say, but because Jesse from Era guest listed me and John Dalton,
Mm-hmm.
because like we weren't gonna go, then John was like, let me just see if Jesse would still guest us.
Humble brag.
Yeah. Right. God, I want to punch myself in the face right now. So I was standing on side stage watching Glass Cloud because the crowd was just too nuts for me to step in. And then I see probably you, and I'm like, yeah. So all right, humble brag over.
Yeah, you guys are saying like getting dropped once hurts. Like at one time at Warped Tour, there was this girl. I think it was Sleeping with Sirens I was seeing. Yeah, and like she kept trying to crowd surf. Like she tried to crowd surf 5 times. Every time she got right next to me, everybody dropped her, and she just kept trying.
That's the problem. I literally, the same thing happened to me. I went to go see A Day to Remember in Asbury Park. And the thing with those kinds of bands is all the girls, the 15 to like 17-year-old girls, they come up front, and anyone trying to crowd surf, they're not going to catch.
Mm-mm.
I literally got dropped 3 times, like in the same song, trying to crowd surf.
Whoa, look at that guy.
Dude, I had
What's he
to,
doing up there?
the first time, second time, I think North Lane came to the States. They were on that Bring Me the Horizon tour, and I was like, I am not missing this. And it was like right around the time Sempiternal came out. I had to like make an agreement like with the girls like up front, I was like, if you let me stand here for North Lane, I'll get right out. I don't give a fuck. You can have your spot right back. You can stand right behind me. Just let me hear. And they're like, I don't know you, so I don't trust. Tell me your deepest, darkest secret. And I was like, fuck you. And I was like, you guys are.
Oh,
trash.
those are that's like
like-
scene girl.
Yeah, 14-year-old like
Oh my
singer.
God.
I'm like, dude, I don't. I'm here for North Lane. Even though it, like North Lane sounds like she was trying to quiz me on all their songs. I'm like, I guarantee you don't know like any of their stuff.
Do you want to know my deepest, darkest secret? I have a short temper.
I do. So she was taking it off pretty bad.
My
That's
deepest
not a good
secret is I have a
thing.
shrine of North Lane in my bathroom.
Yeah, through this right now.
Right.
I have a Northline tattoo on my inner thigh.
You really want to do this? You want to fuck
I
with
do
me?
have a North Lane tattoo on my heel. It's pretty shot, but you know,
Oh, really?
yeah, it's like the cube thing from Singularity, but it's done really bad.
Which vocalist do you prefer? The first one, I think it was, or the new guy?
I liked that era, but like obviously like looking back and like seeing him twice, like he didn't really have the style that could like hold out long, I guess, like on a touring schedule, like as
Who, Adrian?
extensive as there. Yeah, Adrian. So like, even though I liked his voice on the records, live it didn't hold up quite the same. But like, and even though I haven't kept up with North Lane in recent years, like I know that Marcus is a like top tier vocalist, and it's different. But like, I loved Rot. Like the first time it came out, I was like, holy shit, this is different, but it fits the music so well. So I think from now on, they kind of approach their music in a way that like complements his vocals. So I do think in technical aspects, he's the better vocalist for sure.
I definitely like. I don't know what it is, but like I've asked people this question a lot. What do people think of Mesmer? Like
That was okay. I kind of liked it.
I love that
Yeah,
record. That's
I
my
liked it.
favorite North Lane record.
Node was probably my favorite, I think.
I liked it a lot better than Node. I still hate Node to this day. And it was like,
I didn't like the quality of it.
yeah, which when I told Randy, our producer, because like it was done at the same studio, he's like, because he's like, you guys like all that polished shit. And I'm like, I couldn't help it, dude. It didn't hit for me.
I love that production. I don't know. It was like night and day, I guess.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know. I thought it was just so
Snare
good.
sounded so dry.
Mhm.
It was like everything seemed like too raw. I was like, what the fuck? It was that just wasn't it for me. But you know.
Do you guys have any stories from your guys' shows or stories on? Like a fan doing some weird shit, some catastrophe happens.
I mean,
Sound guy? Do you guys have a sound guy story?
I won't name the band, but we were on tour with this band, and I don't even think they're a band anymore. But we were told to go to their house like 4 hours out of the way, or their friend's house or something 4 hours away, and then we go there, and they're not there yet, and we call them. The venue itself was 4 hours away or so.
Yeah,
and
and it's like 4:30, 5:30 in the morning. We're like trying to stay awake, like driving like somewhere we don't know with a rickety ass van.
yeah, and then they say that they haven't even left the venue yet, and we're just like, damn, we're gonna really be in this like back road street parked for like 3 hours before they even get here. We get there, and we go inside, and then he offered originally a big back house for us all to sleep in, like a big studio, and then like whoever else can just stay in the front. And then we go in, and then he says the back door is locked for the back room, and then there's only one chair, and then the floor for the house.
Oh, and also through all this, because like nobody respects this guy anymore. I'm not going to say his name still. He was drunk out of his mind, fighting the rest of the band members. So like we're pulling up to his house. It's 4 in the morning, and he's like screaming like belligerently, like drunk, and like even like his like merch guy and sound guy are like, dude, chill the fuck out. And then we're like, can we still stay? Like 'cause we're just like that band, and he's like no, like sleep on the couch or on the floor.
Yeah.
We were like, cool. We drove all the way here, and it's like an hour and a half out of the way of the venue, just for you to like fuck us.
To
Like,
get on the floor.
Yeah.
it was embarrassing,
It was
and
pretty
we were
bad.
just like, dude, after this, fuck this band. Like straight
How
up.
long ago was that?
That was a while ago.
That was
Summer
like-
of 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like our second like legit run of shows, I guess.
Mhm.
No, I mean, if we're talking about like crazy shit that happened on tour, we could talk about what happened on Stay Sick with the band.
Yeah.
That was
Which time?
it wasn't fun. That was when we
The
were
Crash.
The Crash?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I wasn't sure if there was multiple that tour.
You-
That tour was
you
just
were-
riddled with bad shit, so you could.
I woke up just in time for it, but you were in the front seat, so.
I still have PTSD from that. We
So
were
that
we were
sucks.
the Stay Sick tour that we were on like had some of like the longest drives we've ever done.
Like 14-hour drives.
Yeah, it was not fun, and like we were on our way. We had to go through Idaho, and it's like the speed limits out in these like mid states are insane. It's
I
like,
thought we were technically Montana, right?
no, I think we were in Idaho.
The crash was in Montana. We were
Crash
like,
was in
Yeah,
Montana?
we were like almost out of Montana, getting to wherever.
That's
we
why
were
everyone was so
supposed to
nice.
go.
Oh yeah. All right. No, true. All right, so we're in Montana and we're on this single 2-lane highway that's like an 85 or some shit like that. It's like stupid fast for no reason.
That's one thing. Also, side note, leaving New Jersey is that like in those states, the speed limit normally is like 85.
Yeah.
Which is here, it's like
Yeah.
55 on the Parkway is like the
Yeah.
speed limit. So.
But then people, like even still today in all this weather, people were getting pissed at me because I was going 65. Like, the roads are
Yeah.
slick. This guy's like high beaming me, then gets in front of me and like cuts me off. Like, right in front. I'm like, you fucking dick! Like you're gonna kill me.
Yeah, doing
or
75 in the
somebody
left
else.
lane, some big ass trucks behind you honking, flashing.
I'm like, the whole left lane's open. Just go there. We have to be in front of you.
Dude, go around.
It's awful.
Continue though.
No, but like it's me and Danny driving, and like it's getting late. I'm extremely tired at this point, and like I'm starting to nod out a little bit. He's good to go, but like I'm nodding out, and then all of a sudden I feel, and we hit like a patch of black ice or snow or something, and like we ended up going off the road into the grass median, which is all covered in snow. We skid for like 200 feet.
Luckily, there was no like barricade.
No
it was like a
barricade,
dip.
no-
It was just like a grass dip.
Yeah.
And just like those little like mile
Mile
markers.
like wooden mile markers.
Yeah,
or some
it
shit.
takes
Yeah.
off the left like rear view mirror, so it takes that off, and then like we're just sliding
Yeah.
down.
We're sliding, and somehow we ended up like in the median, or we skid to the point where the van comes up and is facing the road in front of us like this,
Fishtail.
and we jackknifed the
Oh, no,
trailer
that's
where the
right.
trailer
Yeah.
whacked the side of the van.
Oh.
So, and meanwhile, this is my friend's trailer that we borrowed. So we did a number to the trailer. It managed to survive the rest of the tour, but
And a
like,
van we just bought for that tour.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, man.
first, so we were like, God damn it.
Oh, and even better, I guess we shattered the back mirror,
Yeah, the back window.
And it's 7 degrees outside.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
7 degrees.
So all
Busted
the-
window.
Busted window, all the cold air's coming in. Cop shows up, and we're, like I'm on my phone, out in the middle of nowhere with like the worst reception, trying to call someone to like get AAA or something to come out and get us.
We're thinking we're all gonna have to eat each other for some.
Montana.
You're shaking like I've never seen anyone shake before, and I'm literally like quoting Batman because I'm like, warm your chest and like putting blankets on him. I'm like, dude, if Liam Neeson said it, it's probably true.
Dude, yeah, it was
and then
bad.
sure enough, you were like, all right,
Because I like
and
it.
I was like, yes, good. I was just like being like survival dad. I was like, everyone's gotta stay warm. Like the
Dude.
windows, it was freezing. I was like,
freezing. Yeah.
and like Joe's just maniacally laughing because he's just like, of course this would happen.
Because it was like a bunch of other shit on top of that happening with the tour itself, just going.
That wasn't the
bad.
first incident of the tour, but
Yeah.
it's just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like that was like the final straw that kind of like broke everyone a little bit.
I'm-
But like we had to
Yeah,
like suffer
somehow.
through the rest of the tour.
Yeah, somehow we made it. We just had to do like quite a few repairs, like pretty bad like
Yeah.
repairs, like rare shit to like get back on the road. And like it's still like to this day, like sometimes when I try to go to sleep and my mind starts wandering, it just brings me back to that night where like I start like entering like a dream of like another car crash. And I'm like, nope, I'm up, and I'm
Yeah.
up till 4 a.m. until I literally can't keep my eyes open anymore. I
Well,
fall
Well, when that
asleep. It's
happened, I
fun.
was on the back bench, and I think I woke up when we were in the median. So all I saw was just like the sky. I was like, dude, where the fuck is the road?
That would've been
Where the fuck
terrible.
did that
Yeah.
go?
Yeah.
So luckily, I thought we were literally off a mountain, but then we were
Oh my
just
God.
we were just in a median, just sitting.
I woke up literally like less than a minute before it. It's almost like the universe or God or whatever was like, you might want to wake up for this. or death was like, it's your time. You might want to strap yourself
We
in.
have to give Danny all the credit in the world because I remember.
Oh, yeah.
I remember him. He handled it perfectly because if he had done anything different, we would have flipped.
Flipped,
We would have flipped
done.
for sure.
So one of us could have been dead.
But like
Yeah.
the one thing that stays in my head is like him. We're in the middle of the spin. I just hear him go, "No, we're okay. We're okay. We're okay." I'm like,
We're not
This
okay.
is not making me feel okay.
Danny's like a New York City taxi driver. He's
No.
amazing at driving, but
Yeah.
like quick with it.
Oh yeah.
He's the only one that can
Incredible.
finesse a trailer backwards, like for 2 blocks.
Yeah,
if
like
he wanted to.
I'm like I'm almost like thanking God like every day since then that like he was the one driving because I would not have known what to do. Like I've never been trained to like handle like skidding. like out of control like that for the most part, and I feel bad because I'm like, dude, I'm like the oldest in the band, and I'm like, I'm like the least experienced with that shit, but it was terrifying, man. And it, like I hated like the idea of winter tours before that because of that, and now I despise them. And I'm like, can we just make records in the winter and just tour through fall, summer, then
Anything else?
Yeah,
Block off January through
We'll
March.
promise a record every winter. Just
Just
fucking
don't make us
keep
do
us
that.
off the road from like January to like early March.
Or do like a southern tour.
Right?
Yeah.
Just Florida tour.
We'll
Well,
just
not
do a
right,
tour
obviously not
Arizona.
now. You just do Florida right now.
Yeah. We're just gonna tour Florida to
Texas is
Arizona and back.
shambles.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
fucked over
listen,
there.
Florida ain't on top of their shit either. They're,
Oh, yeah.
They're crazy. I ain't going anywhere near them.
They're their own.
I promise
country.
you, you can look up any date and type in Florida Man after it
Oh,
and
I
find a
love it.
wild
Oh my
headline.
God, the birthday challenge? I
Yeah,
forgot
yeah.
what
You could
mine
just
is.
find a
never
wild
did
headline.
mine.
Huh?
I've never done mine.
It's crazy. But back to the snow. Yeah, I hate driving in the winter too. So I do not trust people because I feel like it's the same. Like obviously, I was someone like not too long ago. Someone hit my car, and like for some reason I was telling a while ago. I don't know if you remember, Michael. I was telling Michael about it. Like anytime I drive, if I'm driving and cars are close to me, I just get that like shiver. My body. It's like
Yeah, you get that nervous chill.
yeah,
that
it's
takes-
just like
Or it's like right when you're
Yeah.
right when you're
Mhm.
about to like hurt yourself, but you catch yourself.
Yeah.
Your body does that. Or like
Yeah, exactly.
when you're about to get a paper cut and you get that chill. It's the
Mhm.
same thing all the time.
Body
Yeah,
is
it's
a
terrible.
screenshot.
Well, that's me now. Like whenever we're driving after that incident, like whenever like I'm in the back on the bench or just sleeping or something, and someone like goes over like the smallest bump. If anyone catches me, you'll see me go.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Just
every
because
time.
it's still in the back of my head, I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god, we're gonna spin out.
Like in a
That's how I
pothole,
feel
I'm
when
like,
like I have to cut lanes when people start doing stupid stuff. Like let me slam on the brakes at 60 miles per hour and I
Yeah.
yeah.
Always a good idea.
The more I think about it, I fucking hate driving in the winter now. I think you've unleashed it out of me now. Because I remember I
Did we
was going to
just
school.
traumatize you?
Yeah, right. You brought back trauma. I was going to school one day and I was at a stop sign at the end of my street. I'm just waiting to like make a turn, just, waiting, and all of a sudden, a car is reversing into my driver's side door, and I go, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" And it's my neighbor, and she's still backing up, and I'm starting to honk. I'm like, "What are you doing?" She turns around, she goes, "Oh." And she opens her door. She's like, "I'm sorry, I thought you were a pile of snow." And I go, "Even if I was
Wait.
You're like,
What
this
color
is-
is your car?
silver."
And how
Alright.
old is this lady?
She's up there, maybe like late 50s, early 60s.
Lady, you're going in a home off the road.
Oblivion NPC conversation.
Yeah, literally.
I thought you were a pile of snow.
And I was like, even if I was snow, why would you keep backing up?
Yeah,
You
your
know?
car's gonna stop either way.
Yeah, and I'm a whole solid car here. I drive like a Honda Accord, so it's not the biggest car.
Yeah.
But come on,
Yeah,
know?
you can still see your car. Your car
I've
is.
been, I've been in about 7 accidents. Not one is my fault. They've all been paid by insurance by the other person.
That's what they all say.
I swear to God, ask any of them. Not a single one has been my fault.
You have their phone
Hey,
numbers.
listen,
Yeah.
listen. The deer hit me. Okay.
Yeah, the deer jumped and hit me. The deer swerved into me.
It was a hired hit.
I almost hit a deer the other day.
You ever see that video of the
Those
deer
things suck.
jumping?
Dude,
through
they
the
do
guy's
jump
window?
at you. They like I've literally hit a deer because I was on one way and it was just super narrow and a deer was coming into the road and I tried to slow down and I was going like 2 miles an hour, basically stop, and the deer just looks at me and then just head first into the side of my car and then dents the shit out of my door and then just like shakes it off and walks away. I'm like,
They're literally rats with hooves. No wonder they're getting shot year round all the time. They suck.
dude,
Yeah.
And they taste delicious. So
Oh, yeah.
keep
Yo,
it going.
venison, right? Is
Yeah.
that- oof, so good.
I had venison salami one time.
Oh,
man.
My friend
That
gave me
sounds
venison
insane.
jerky once.
I had venison
Ooh.
chili, I think, one time. That was good.
We gotta do an episode where we just try random fucking meats.
Yeah,
Bro,
right.
let me cook.
Yeah.
Let me
You
cook,
ever
let me
been
cook
to-
these random meats.
You ever been to the beef jerky outlet, Jersey Shore outlets? In
I've-
Tinton Falls.
I've heard of it, but I've never been.
It's amazing. I had ostrich jerky. I had alligator, bison.
How was alligator? I heard it's good.
I had alligator
It's
sausage.
very tangy, super tangy.
It's very
Episode
chickeny.
17, we cooked Chris.
Yeah. Here, try my thigh.
Like a third of this episode is gonna be like us, like about like different meats, like alligator.
Yeah, just ASMR.
Well, we stopped at I think it was in Arizona or wherever there was gizzards inside. There was like rats on the floor.
Dude,
of this
it
place.
was
it was
like-
like the worst rest stop.
Worst gas
It's like
station.
Texas Chainsaw Town.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's not that bad, but it reminded me of like that Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe when you walk in and like the lady's just like, "How can I help you?" There's like flies around. And she's
You're
like,
not from around here, are you?
There's-
We don't take
Far from
kindly to
home?
your kind.
yeah, like under a heat lamp, there's like potato wedges, like popcorn chicken, curly fries, and like other fried meats, and then it just
Human
says
heart.
fried gizzard. And
That's
I'm just like,
That's like this place called like Piggly Wiggly. And it's like a gas station, and it's got like a food place in there kind of, and it's just a bunch of like fried food sitting under a heat lamp, and there's just some like
Whatever they find out back.
it's
straight
just
up.
some lady or person at the cashier, and they're like, "How may I help you?"
This place literally gave me the vibe, like, with all the flies, I could, like, in my head, I'm picturing, like, the attendant, like, checking me out, and all of a sudden he just stares at me and a fly lands on his eye.
but he doesn't.
He doesn't blink, he just-
You're like, all right, before I get an axe in my gullet, let's get the hell out of here. It sucks.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
What's like the most hectic state besides Montana to drive through?
Oh, all right.
Washington, D.C.
No, fuck that. I'm never driving through the Colorado Rockies ever.
That sounds
Ever.
amazing.
At night during a snowstorm, which
Okay,
is like
well-
90% of the time.
With
apparently, in
the
Rockies.
trailer, and it's just.
It's
Oh,
literally.
fair enough.
And the best part, we did this after the accident, I'm pretty sure.
I think it was right before.
Was it right before or was it after? Because I remember we did
Colorado came before.
Colorado came before. But we didn't have chains either.
We didn't have chains.
Oh,
We went up a mountain during a blizzard.
With no change.
No chains, fully loaded trailer. Dumbest shit we've ever done.
We were
Yeah.
we were noobs.
Dude,
It was our first time
it
passing
was
through there.
most terrifying thing I think because I've accidentally fallen asleep at the wheel also, and in comparison of like terrifying of waking up from that and realizing you're asleep at the wheel and going through the Rockies, like Rockies are so much more terrifying. Like if we had to take a detour that was like 8 hours, I would for them like going through that I would never ever recommend that going through the Rockies with a trailer.
It's pretty freaky, yeah.
Yeah, it's like steep, going downhill, and then you almost have to like roll up the next mountain.
Yeah, you have to keep the momentum so you don't get stuck.
Yeah.
Neutral.
And then you hear because you're pulling all this weight. When you're going like uphill, like your transmission's just like, and you're like, God, we're gonna explode! You're like, brace for it! It's like terrifying.
We also were on tour with the Grader on that tour. They're from Massachusetts, and they actually spun out on the Rockies. They were like not far behind us, and Liam texted me and was their vocalist and was like, "Hey, like, you guys good? Like, how's the drive for you?" And we're like, "I'm like, dude, I'm like inching, I'm like crawling on these mountains," and he's like, "Dude, we just like kind of like fishtailed out and just kind of went into the side of like the road." I'm like, "Dude," because it's all ice and snow on the ground, so I don't know how like if you stopped, how you wouldn't slowly
Slide.
like slide.
We're,
Yeah,
we're gonna invest chains next time.
For
just avoid
sure.
avoid the Rockies.
And just get like a tour tank. you'll
Just a
never
big
side
fat
note.
tank.
That'd be insane.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, imagine.
Yeah.
Just blow traffic out of our
you
way.
could, what band do you think you could see doing that? Like, if it was any band, what band would show up to a show in a tank?
King
King
810.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's incredible. I was like, what band like makes it known they love weapons? King 810.
Them or Slaughter. Slaughter to prevail.
Oh,
yeah,
for
You
sure.
got- you have,
That's a good
you
one.
have Alex Terrible with AKs 24/7.
Yeah, popping
Yeah.
out the top of his mask on like Adidas pants with like chains and
Killer
shit.
from
Yeah, just-
Tarkov.
yeah.
I think I'm just trying to think of hard ass bands that are like.
I think
all-
those
Harm's
two-
Way maybe.
Spite,
Oh,
maybe.
maybe.
I don't know.
I feel like
They're pretty angry.
they're angry, but they're like cool about it. Like,
Yeah.
They're not extra
I
about
can
it.
see them all rolling up on like quads, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like wrestler, like in an ambulance.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think
yes.
King 810 is just like one of those bands that's just like they're so extra
They're
about their
overly-
edge.
Overly edgy.
Yeah.
You know how what's it? Is it JBL or William Regal that drives the limo onto the?
That was
JBL.
JBL.
Has anyone ever seen the limo leave? How does it get out?
It's like okay, so right behind the stage there was in the games you could see it like on the side. If you ran to the side, there was like a little garage door on the side of the
I'm
stage
thinking
for them to just
Same thing
drive
with
in.
Alberto Del Rio.
I'm thinking this man does like a 16-point K turn and turns around.
I mean,
That,
yeah, I'm,
that was another good one. That was before you got in the band. Me and you remember this. Remember Heirloom Art Studio in Connecticut?
Yes.
Having to go through the alleyway
Oh, that was clutch.
to get to the
clutch.
lot.
And that trailer was long too.
Well, it was long, and we were doing it in our old vocalist Nissan Armada. there was a little. We pulled in and we grinded out the trailer pulling into the lot. So we were like, crap, we can't come back out that same way. And the only way to get to the parking lot next door was there was a little walkway, but there was 2 posts that they could use to
Like Target concrete like posts that they have kind of outside.
kind of like decorative, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but we had like 3 inches of clearance on each side. So we had to go in, turn while still maintaining clearance, and then do the same thing through the other side. It took us like, what, an hour? To just
Yeah, it took an
get
hour.
through
Just
that.
get like 10 feet.
Yeah, just because we didn't want to
Terrible.
pull out and scrape the bottom of our trailer again. Honestly, we should have just scraped the trailer.
Oh man, you guys got any?
No, I looked at you because I thought you were gonna say something.
That's so sweet. Yeah, I guess we'll start to wrap it up. We hit about an hour now, but is there anything you guys want to end on? Any topics, closing statements, conclusions?
There's a new album
Coming.
coming in 2021 eventually.
At some
Yeah.
point.
So,
At some point, no one knows when.
so keep blowing us up about that because your patience and your impatience
Yes,
both mean
please
the world.
harass us about it.
So
Yeah.
in the
And
meantime, check out and stream Inertia
Yeah.
on Sharptone Records. Follow us on all our social media, which is just at Sentinels NJ. Follow our personals on there. We're tagged and stuff. Yeah, I would just say keep looking out for that.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, well, thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Thank you guys
Thank
for
you
having
for
us.
having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Go check out the new single, everyone. Hit up their socials and show some love. Thank you guys.